Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Upper left hand corner, we got Aegis starting as the red Zerg. He's currently down 0-1 versus Favorit, aka Favorit from Team Urk. I did not realize. Starting as the whatever color this is. That tan? That's not tan. That's like light gray. Is that gray? Is that just flat gray? For some reason, it doesn't look gray. Looks less slate than it should be. Anyway, he's up 1-0 in this series. We are, by the way, now in Swiss round 3. The second game is Swiss round 3. And I forgot to update the map. I don't think I'm going to black screen you guys. This, no, I'll black screen it because it's a different enough map that it probably deserves it. All right, Metropolis, there you go. Fist shake, Metropolis. You got the drop areas back here, other drop areas back here. Also makes Mutalisks particularly strong on this map. I will say it feels like Aegis... I'm not sure if it's a tournament scenario or what. It seemed like a lot of things went wrong game one. The 3 Zealots slipped past. He was delayed on getting his Hydralisk. I'm wondering if it was just missed it on the build order because of those 3 Zealots earlier. Ended up not having the Hydralisks out in position to run the SimCity. Looks like he's scouting towards top right. I'm wondering if we're going to see a bounce back here in game 2. Gateway opener once again. We're once again at cross positions. So Aegis, if he collects himself, is going to have opportunity, and it looks like he's going to switch up the build orders. That could also be another factor. It could be that Aegis is more comfortable in overpool play, because that's something that Zerg have been doing a lot more of, rather than the 11 or 12 hatches, or even 9 hatches. And so it could be he was just off a bit on the build order and the timing, which is unfortunate because it felt like he was in a really good spot with the 11 hatch cross position. Ended up with a solid economic standing. He had the Zerglings out potentially to work with to defend as needed, and just things didn't come together. I do like how they have a little landing pad for the drone to just settle down on. Little landing pad here for the probe as well. Just like plop down here. Anyway, cross scout here from Aegis. It looks like he did continue the Overlord scout with the pathing to the top right. Snake skeleton in Metropolis, because I guess this planet was owned by ancient Egyptians via the Stargate. Old school reference. Makes me feel old talking about it. Man, that probe taking a lot of base damage. The Zerglings getting free. First Zealot about mid-map making its way across. The drones are a little bit too far on the hunt though. They need to draw back. And it looks like, we'll see if this drone makes its way. It looks like Favorit just checking the direction. And a drone has managed to sneak into Aegis's main. Is going to go ahead and steal some minerals. Or sorry, into Favorit's main. Going to go ahead and steal some minerals. It looks like that 9 o'clock base going to build without issue. The Zerglings spreading out. Ooh, opening up the ramp, which will maybe give them a little bit more surface area. It's now going to be 5 rather than 6 Zerglings. Good little drawback away from the probe. And as a result, both the Zealot and the probe are dispatched, and minimal losses. Wow, Zergling death animations, was that? Okay, never mind, the skeleton was there before. Probe gonna go ahead and draw back. Zealot gonna attempt to block the gap. Still a large gap along that left-hand side from this position, so you're gonna need a pylon or a couple Zealots over that direction. First cannon is being plopped down before anything else, and the probe just gonna sidle along that edge. Aegis right the second, going to capitalize on the lack of information more than anything, and not continue to pressure out here. Just gonna maybe macro up a little bit more aggressively. Looks like there's Zealot gonna come alongside. Wonder what these two guys talk about. Probe gonna go ahead and draw back to start mining now that this is kind of an interesting odd. So all these mineral fields full. This one 250, and just on the edge, oddly enough. Does feel like this would be the one you want to prioritize to get out of there. That actually also speeds it up, because so the mineral fields that are closer to the hatchery mine a little bit faster. I didn't realize that on the natural at Metropolis there's that extra patch, which provides a little bit speedier mining at the natural. Little side features. 2 Zealots, by the way, wandering their way out, leaving the natural expansion exposed. There are 6 Zerglings, but not 8. 8's usually the number you're looking at. Aegis, it is microable, a little bit harder, more of a challenge to micro it. The drones could pull off the line to provide some defense. And Favorit might be able to dive in and just get some drones. He has to be a little bit careful, might want to attack towards the edge. The Zerglings, yeah, distracted. Drones drawing back, so at least some interruption. And you can, wow, that mineral field act that I was just talking about being a star now, because you can see where until that's mined out, that's providing extra surface area for those zealots to sneak behind the lines and create some havoc. So they're just going to sit here. They're going to be able to deny mining along at least that patch, and again, that bonus patch. Zergling on hold position, so wandering out, but they're going to go ahead and try to get a surround and blockade. Hold these zealots in place to evict. That zealot going to die, and now I want to say I'll hex break and lose, but it looks like the Zerglings instead going in piecemeal a little bit. 4 kills on that zealot. At least that zealot well worth it. The Overlord diving in is going to be able to confirm the Stargate in the space of this. I think it's going to be able to see that second assimilator as well. +1 weapons complete. Drone's going to finish off that zealot. Proud moment for him, and the Hydralisks now making the way across. Looks like several cannons are morphing in. This one is not going to be a lot of help along that corner. Zealots marching out on the field to try to provide some time. That could be interesting. That's kind of a cool play from Favo, actually. Gonna buy him maybe enough time, because this is a late reaction overall to the Hydralisks attacking on the front. We don't have range, it's just speed. And the Zealots make it back to provide the defense. And Aegis invested pretty heavily in this overall. We got 7 cannons. Let's see if Aegis pauses. I don't think he's going to pause, though. I think he's just going to gather and still dive. Although he has started droning, and he is making his way towards lair. Also dropping a second extractor. So this might turn into a more aggressive lurker contain in the mid-game. For whatever reason, Zerg have been less favorable. That the lurker contain has kind of gone out of style. For whatever reason, Corsair making its way across to go ahead and scout to see how aggressive the turnaround is going to be. He's going to start poking. He's going to start poking, and is going to be able to see the gas in the midst of everything out. These Hydralisks that are trying to make their way back are not going to be in time to save that Overlord. Also, 4th hatchery going to be spotted at an odd angle, might create some blockade. Range complete. The Forge, it did complete +1 weapons, which is significant. Aegis in the red. Spire's been spotted. We have 2 Hydralisks, but Overlord's still maybe a little bit vulnerable. Another Overlord going to be built there at the 9 o'clock. Gateway. Ooh, what is that Zealot doing? Zealot wandered out just to die. So Gateway gone. Forge will be gone. Do we have a Gateway Flood behind this? We have 1 Gateway behind us, but no Gateway Flood as of yet. 2 additional hatcheries being dropped at the 9 o'clock, so Aegis looks like he's favoring 6 hatchery overall, which will give him some spare larva. Is this going to turn into 6 hatchery Mutalisk, or is this going to stick 6 hatch Hydra? Corsair is staying active and spotting. It looks like we do have the 9 drones here at the main. Decent. I think we got, yeah, pretty good saturation at the natural. And do we have full saturation here as well? Not quite yet, but we're not that far off of it. Sun Colony going to drop right there. No Hydros protection just yet. The Corsair did kind of, that looked like one of those cartoons of the walk by and then like the exclamation of like, wait a minute. But the Corsair not able to turn around and get damage done and takes a pounding. And Aegis more or less pulling back, and a lot of these Overlords are exposed mid-map. I don't think that, unfortunately for this Corsair, not really going to be able to capitalize on it. We've got 5 gateways up in the meantime for Favorit, dropping some defensive cannons just in case the Mutalisks with that weakened Corsair decide to make an appearance. Forge has been redropped. We also have Maelstrom, and it looks like a Dark Archon being queued up, 12 o'clock base being grabbed. Next question, Aegis potentially going Mutalisk heavy because we saw that second gas. It looks like that's where that's going to be invested. Is he going to get hit by the Maelstrom and the Psystorm as he makes his way across? That can oftentimes be a game shifting. The problem for the Dark Templar, honestly, is not that they're not useful. It's that they're slow and it's hard to get them where you need them to drop the Maelstrom. So it's one of those things where you don't get observers, you have trouble spotting where they need to be. It's like there's nothing that a Dark Archon gives you as far as vision. In fact, you have to kind of skip Corsairs and whatnot to get the vision, and then you need vision to know where the units are coming from to be able to drop it. At least that's kind of my assessment of the Dark Archon. And also when you're doing that, you're building less Psystorm, ultimately at the end of the day. So it's like more effective Psystorm, but less of it. By the way, it's not yet upgraded. We only have that single Corsair in the background. These cannons might be able to, if the Corsair, or the Mutalisks go too deep, could get plucked. Making its way. Could end up sitting in, oh, two groups of, wow, that's a lot of Mutalisks. The Dark Archon hiding itself doesn't quite have enough energy yet. And as a result, Aegis going to be able to end up with the worker lead. Has lost 3 Mutalisks to the Corsair and Cannon alone. Now we have enough energy, but we still don't have Psystorm yet. So unfortunately for Favo, the Gambit not working out, and he's not going to have the defenses he was looking for. Also, Aegis, supply lead. He's got that 12 o'clock base up. Look for him to saturate that as rapidly as possible. Now is making his way forward. Okay, drops that, but still doesn't have the Psystorm as of yet. Has energy, but it's not quite upgraded. This is going to be close, and the Mutalisks are free. Run, Mutalisks, run! Took a lot of damage, so I'm going to say not worth. The Mutalisks still got the damage done they were looking for. Also halted mining for quite a bit of time at that second base. Favo with a good amount of supply, though. The one downside for Aegis is he was microing those Mutalisks and it has not yet saturated this 12 o'clock. But he's got a good amount of Hydralisk. Ooh, is going very, very defensive. Spore Colony on top of everything, but also has some Lurker tech. I love this Spore. I think this is underutilized, honestly, is the Spore Colony on the forward edge and the Lurkers along. I mean, it's just so good to defend with. 12 o'clock base is now mining. I want to see that gas in place. The gas is really what made Zerg sail. Aegis has supply blocked himself briefly, but he's still in a pretty solid position, is at even supply. The upgrade's not bad, however. I'm wondering if we're going to see a further investment in Mutalisks, because we are seeing +1 Carapace being invested in. Wow. That Hydralisk got 1 kill, and it was 100% worth it. Aegis now grouping up with the Hydralisk to the 12 o'clock. Starting to mine here. It looks actually, I take it back, he's a little bit gas heavy, a little bit mineral light, so starting to get the drones fielded this direction, Lurkers taking place. Aegis going very, very heavy as far as defense. That was a weird statement. He's defending up. He's going to go ahead and shell up right this second. Also checking that there's no third. When you're up a base against Protoss, that's really a solid position. 4 gas, 4 base Zerg, very, very solid. I think Favo knows the damage has been done to him, and he's also sitting up 65 drones. Holy cow. This is actually a larger army for Favo than I realized. Because this is, so -20, that means he's 30 supply down as far as raw army goes. Or about 20 supply down as far as raw army goes. But Aegis does have the advantage where it's high ground to low ground, and we got no detection, so it's just going to be Psystorms to try to defend this. And we got a Zealot that just ran in and bit it. That does create some isolation where this 9 o'clock is now pressed back. Hydralisk going a little bit too far. And yeah, eating a Maelstrom, not picking off a High Templar. That did clear up some energy at the very least. And if Aegis starts building units off a lot of the hatcheries he's got, he should be able to repel this. It looks like a counterattack of Zerglings have managed to sneak out. They're going to go ahead and charge into the 3 o'clock to deny that base. But denying a base doesn't matter if you end up losing your natural and everything else. Psystorm over the wall, catching a lot of units. Sunken Colonies being pushed up to crack this open. Psystorm does not work on buildings, by the way. Another advantage of Sunken Colonies, potentially. But the Zealots are managing to sneak into the main. That was a huge Psystorm. Might have done Aegis a favor in freeing up some supply, actually, with the drones. Counterattack making its way in. And this might be a GG moment if Aegis wipes out this attack force without further losses. And it looks like that is going to be the case, because now he's locked out of a 3 o'clock. And is going to potentially end up losing all of these Dragoons. +2 weapons on the no +2 weapons as of yet. Hive Tech, wow, I didn't expect that. Hive Tech in the space of this for Aegis. So delaying +2 weapons to get superior tech instead. More Zerglings are fanning their way across on the map to maybe cut off reinforcements. Zerglings are trying to pick off what is left. Looks like they're going to get some Dragoons, kind of scattered attacks everywhere. Some more reinforcements making their way across. I think Favo recognizes that he's got to crack. He's got to cut the Gordian knot now, otherwise he's not going to catch up economically. few Zerglings being caught mid-map, so he's got another sizable attack force, and his natural not well resaturated, but the 9 o'clock base still humming, 12 o'clock base still humming. Regrouping. He's got another 2 minutes. He's got really another minute before he needs to jump on this. It looks like the Zerglings have evacuated the 3 o'clock. Aegis trying to do a little bit too much at once here. He's trying to deny the 3 o'clock while also dealing with this attack at his natural expansion, and he really needs to concentrate on one or the other. Right now he's going to go back in, deny the 3 o'clock. Fortunately for him, Favo's backing up rather than continuing the assault, so might end up being okay. Zerglings stream their way across. By the way, adrenal upgrades have completed, which means they just chew through these Zerglings all the more rapidly. Zerglings getting cleaned up en masse by that Psystorm. Looks like Hydros as well. We do have observers overhead. Ooh, nice Maelstrom on the Zerglings as well. That Dark Archon actually doing pretty well. I will say Dark Archons, when they're great when you're going for assaults more than anything else, because you know they're going to hit. You don't have to worry about them being in position. Favo continuing to move some Zealots up. Might have gotten them in position right in the nick of time, and Aegis, yes, collapsing on this with a good amount of troops, but they're coming in very piecemeal. And as a result, Favo getting the better portion of a lot of these assaults. High Templar exposed, but the Archon going to preoccupy. 27 kills on that Archon, by the way. Natural expansion once again getting crashed down on. Lurker is going to get wiped out. We have all sorts of Lurkers attempting to morph here at the natural expansion. And Favo's doing it, continuing to press through. Still 3 sunken colonies. Those Lurkers need to burrow immediately if they're going to be of use. That should clear up the Zealots on that reverse angle, but more reinforcements making the way across. However, now a stream of Zerglings making the way, and that Psystorm obliterating Lurkers, that Dark Archon hiding for its life. Might be able to buy a bit of time. Unfortunately now for Favo, he was not able to wipe out the natural expansion hatchery, and he was not able to get that 3 o'clock base up and running in short order in the midst of all this. So now the 12 o'clock base still solid and running. Aegis has actually got bottom left. He can start, go ahead. Aegis needs to just macro from here. Do all the macro things. And it looks like part of that is going to be Ultralisks, and that is fine at this stage. Although I'd be a little bit worried to going Ultralisk when you know there's Dark Archons out there and potentially mind control down the line. I do believe that's cost effective gas-wise, because let me think about that. Yeah, you get 2 Dark Archon, you get 1 Dark Archon, 1 Maelstrom. It just takes a while to get the energy. But anyway, Favo checking top right blindly. I think this is just see whether he can grab this as a quick follow-up or not. His main is, by the way, mined out. Aegis sprinting across, and while Favo was doing that, he opened up this counterattack. This amount of Zerglings, even at +1 with the adrenal upgrades, very likely is going to be able to preoccupy and wipe out this Nexus. Single Zealot trying to get in. Psystorm on top of the Zealots. Oh, Psystorm saves it last second. Not over yet though, single Zergling. Few troops pushing through. And Aegis has taken the supply lead in the midst of this. Nexus is going to be at a 3rd health, by the way, once it's spawning after all of that. Observer has found bottom left. Aegis still with the 30 drone difference is still a little bit army light. And if he just continues to macro, if he just macros, get some more macro hatches, gets those Ultralisks running around, should be fine. Psystorm and Dragoons dealing with that Ultralisk, by the way. Did the Ultralisk have the armor upgrade as of yet? Not quite yet. They're going to be really heavily upgraded though once the... Never mind, that's +1 armor. That'll come alongside. And +2 weapons should finish before that. Zergling's trying to bully their way up, but the Zealot's going to go ahead with the Dragoon support, going to deny that. Nexus has rebuilt some shields. Aegis grabbing top right. He's got 3/4 of the map. Zealots have snuck bottom left. Hatchery drops. That was a big win. I think some drones were accidentally attacking the hatchery in the space of that. However, Aegis should be able to redrop that fairly rapidly. In fact, might want to drop 2 bases. He might actually just go caddy corner. The drone's going to... is that observer going to spot that? Probably. Just going to redrop. Ultra sitting there. Do we have more troops? Aegis is in a really good late game situation. He just needs to get the meat on the field. Build the overlords, get the units out there. Make sure Favo can't run around, get anything accomplished. Observer spots the hatchery top right. Archon and Zealot holding. A few Zerglings peeling in. He also needs to not go in piecemeal. Although, yeah, just needs to not maximize the Psystorm as it's entering. 2 Archons dropping. Despite this, and here's the other thing. Aegis can literally, it's kind of just like throwing... What's the metaphor I want to make here? Aegis has enough money where he could convert his wealth into pennies and destroy a building that way with the like penny cannon. That was a really rough metaphor, but that's the visual I want you to make here. It's like we're going to take our $1 million, we're going to cash it in and all in pennies, and then this skyscraper, we're just going to shoot pennies right at the bottom of it, and that's going to be so many pennies that eventually this is going to break. That's what Aegis can do right this second. He's so far ahead economically. Zelt's trying to... That's a fun visual regardless. I would like to see someone attempt that next time a skyscraper that's in the middle of nowhere needs to be demolished. Because, you know, that's where they build skyscrapers, is out in the middle of nowhere these days. Zealot top right. Drones are just going to abandon it. Never mind, Ultra's turning around. Zelt's trying to do what they can. Nice drone drill. So it looks like that is going to get cleaned up. Got the hatchery to about half health. 4 Ultras, even some Psystorm. Forcing some Psystorm on top of their own units. This is exactly what he can do. Just preoccupy, grab everything else. Preoccupy and build. Let the blood seep and stink up the Protoss side of the map. Wow, that's a lot of Ultras here bottom left. A lot of Ultras top right. I really want to see mind control invested in at this stage. More Ultras running across. A problem for Ultras actually on this map is just the ability to get through. Oh, okay, the Zealot's gonna get spotted from Aegis. Looks like he's... Does he have... He has some Lurkers and some Mutalisks that could get ignored. Ultras have breached the gates and gotten through. These are definitely not pennies. These are more like wrecking balls. More like cannonballs. The Zealot's wandering all the way into the main, by the way, and gonna try to assail that. Is not gonna matter though, because this 3 o'clock is gone. The natural expansion's been expended for Favo, and Aegis can just re-macro top right. So Favo, yeah, gonna GG right there. Aegis striking back. We're not now tied up at 1 apiece. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.